Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Let's Go. We're back, we're back, we're back. And in case we haven't mentioned, we're also on Spotify. So if you get Spotify, you can hear us over there. So click there anytime. All of the recordings are there from the very beginning to now, and they'll continue to post whenever we post. But before we dive in, if these conversations touch something true in you, please like, subscribe, share it with someone who may need it, all the wonderful things in life. Your support helps us stay in this rhythm and keep these real moments flowing where the planet doesn't need waking, just more hearts to join in the song. Usually I just talk, but that was so perfect. I had to read it. It sounded like I was reading. I was. And very exciting news. We've got Christine DeMuth coming on to have a wonderful conversation with us. So can't wait for that to post. And then Monday, October 13th. Now I know it's a holiday and we chose that specifically because we know a lot of people will be off. So Monday the 13th at 10 a.m., you can join us on Zoom because these are all recorded on Zoom. You can join us on Zoom to ask us any questions, just have a conversation, sit in on whatever we're speaking about, whatever you want to do. So we're excited about that. And hopefully you guys can join us because I think that'll be exciting and get to know whatever you got to know. And I always love questions, Tracy. I don't know about you. I always love questions because then that's when all sorts of information comes in. And because if I'm not thinking to ask it, what the heck do I know? But somebody asks, and it's
And I
good.
guess if you can't be there, if they can just put a question,
Oh yeah,
then we'll answer it too. But
yeah. You can email us a question, and I'll put that in the thing too. renaemuss@gmail.com. Oh, that's a good idea, Trace. I love that. Okay, so today's conversation, we want to get into the whole thing on why we keep going outside of us. If we always notice, like, oh, I'm going up, oh, I got to go up, I got to go above this, I got to do this, I got to do that. And it's really about everything inside. And off camera, Tracy and I were having a conversation. And Tracy, you had a great story on how you were recognizing, wait, why am I going here? Why aren't I doing this? So if you remember that, so no, a lot of times I'll share it and I forget. So
and I think we probably both said it many times on here about the going beyond thing. And I realized that I do visualize, like I either hold myself above the fray. So I like the whole analogy of being the observer, or I like, to be the alien, and you're kind of just like looking down at everyone, including yourself, and just, wow, look at that. And it's not that bad. And look what I did, and look what they did. And then even when we started talk about going beyond, which I think is hugely significant and profound, I noticed I was shooting myself out there beyond where everything is. And then I had this huge realization of, wait a minute, why are you going out there? It's all in here. And it really was profound for me. Like, holy, it almost is dizzying to bring it all in because it's almost, you're claiming it, like you're embodying it. It was almost as if I was acknowledging it, witnessing it, being aware of it. But when you're like, oh, wait a minute, I got to embody that, like it's in me. And everyone's different. Everyone's going to see it different, do it different timelines, different. But for me, it was like, woo, I think it kind of rocked my world for a week. Because then you are all of it. And it's amazing and a lot and profound. And it's just funny how we are always seeing more, knowing more, understanding more. I think Renaé and I's running joke is, now I get it. until you're like, oh, now I understand. So that I'll just start with that. But, and I think it's that kind of thing. You don't know until you know. And how do you know until you know? Who knows? It's like that, those three guys, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that it's a big one. So
yeah, that is. And I love, when you touched on that, because it's that whole aspect of we always think that, oh, okay, well, I've got to go beyond this. And like you said, we've said this a million times, like we're getting rid of things, or we're clearing things, or whatever. The truth of the matter is, okay, you have this event happen on this day, right? You're here today. Today's a new day. Like, okay, what is today? Today's Monday, right? So you had something happen over the weekend. Are you still thinking about it? You're still doing whatever? Well, guess what? You're on Monday. You've already honestly moved beyond that from an energetic point and a human point. So what's now happening, if you're going back and like thinking about it and doing whatever, you're recreating, you're reprocessing, you're changing the energetic field to stay in that aspect. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Am I describing that?
You are, and you're kind of, I love, we can't really go back
Exactly.
unless we really make a conscious choice to go back. So
Mm-hmm.
don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's true. And I don't think people recognize that. So it goes back to, what you were saying, like when you are recognizing something, if you're saying, okay, I'm going to now own this. This is what I feel, or this is what I experienced. And I'm going to bring your daughter in on this because they're showing that, because you had read that, one aspect. She is so incredibly intelligent and smart and like everything, just what she writes and what she knows and where she is. She owns every little aspect of everything. And I don't really want to put you on the spot, but I think that would be really great from what they're showing me. I think it'd be really great to read that piece if you can. And if it's not too intrusive, you don't think she'll get upset, because really they're saying people need to own what you are experiencing. And exactly what we said. Stop going outside. Stop saying, oh, well, this happened, or, oh, I've got to go above this. I have to move into a different dimension. I have to, go here, go here, go here. Say, no, I am it. I am it. I am that vibration. I remember who I am. And the more you're doing that and owning every single thing that you've experienced, you chose it. You chose it, period. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not. And they're saying, um, Tracy's daughter was perfect at putting it into words, and she writes beautifully to begin with. But do you have that?
I do. And do you want me to read? Do you remember which? I'm just reading what I didn't even read to you. But this was a other, because you said about the past.
Yeah.
I'll go back and read, but I was like, oh, where was that part I read? But this is one line she read. Don't let people decide for you when you don't want to. You learn that ignoring the past doesn't make you more of the person you want to be. It actually does the opposite, which is interesting that I didn't even read that to Renaé earlier, because I'll go back. She was owning it in the moment. So it's almost like ignoring the past, meaning own it in the moment of the now. Should I read the first or the second one, or all of it?
They're saying they're saying the first and the second are very important for the point that, and the energy that we're in, to bring that forward to everybody.
Okay. So should I give context? Because she's writing stuff that happened a year ago, and she had a pretty cool like romance love affair. But okay, so she says, this is just a snippet out of a whole article that she wrote. The other day, my friend and I were talking about pivotal moments, car crash nights that led to daydream months that led to inexorable heartbreak. It was almost unbelievable the way things happened to me. I've never believed in fate like that, but it's impossible not to when everything falls perfectly into place. Maybe now I'm more jaded with all of it in the rear view. I'd still like to believe it happened for a reason. I think a lot about how different things could have been. If I hadn't gone out that night, if I hadn't been running in the rain to get somewhere I wasn't even sure would matter, maybe it wouldn't have been easier, but I don't think I'd want it to be. It all hurt, and I was grateful for the pain. It only made me softer and maybe a better writer. I learned to channel everything I felt into something beautiful, pages that I could hold in my hand and feel proud of. I wanted to see proof of the love that I had felt, that even when it hurt, the hurt was still born out of love. I was proud to have something to miss.
Beautiful. I've been talking about owning everything and really honoring it. Like I love how she didn't wallow in that aspect. And maybe she had, time where she did, and she's writing about it a year later, like really appreciating all that she went through. And I think that we forget to do that. We chose our path. And they're saying right now in this energy, everything is coming to light. All the whole truths are being slapped in everybody's face, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. Whether if you've been told something or you've been thinking something, that you were like, I'm not really comfortable with this, but this is my pattern, this is my program, this is what I do. Pay attention, because you have to own the stuff and you have to own the consequences to that, because everybody is being, what they're saying is woken. They're saying everybody is being woken to the new and true energy of you. If you're into a field or into they're showing a frequency and a vibration, if you're into that you've been regurgitating the same thing over and over, being, this is not my words, they're saying being a victim, welcome to victimhood, because you are continually recreating that. You're emulating that over and over and over again. Every single day is an absolute new start. Every single minute is an absolute new start. They're saying, so what are your, Tracy, your words, like choose wisely, because what are your choices? What are you choosing to do? If you're blaming other people, what are you doing? You're going outside of you. Come back into you and own that and say, okay. And Tracy, you did that perfectly. And so I'm going to go right back to you again. Remember you were doing like this and then this, you were doing like, do you remember that? Because like we have these conversations all the time. Like, oh my God, this is so good. And I never think that it's going to come back here, but they're saying that is so important to continue to do. So if you've got something to say about your daughter's writing or that, and then if we could loop into the other thing, that would be great.
Well, and I think because I was like, oh, I'm going to read this too, because this spoke to what you just said. And I read all this to you earlier. So this is back to what my daughter read again. Again, these are just snippets kind of out of order. This is about something else. This is about another just kind of like romance that happened in her life recently. But this is so relevant, and it doesn't have to be romance or a person. So she says, I admit that I let things move quickly. I'm not one to hold back, to bite my tongue when things feel right to me. I am conscious of the inherent risk of it all, and I choose to ignore this. And if I choose to, I'm conscious of the inherent risk of it all, and I choose to ignore the signs. Maybe because I'm looking for love everywhere, not singularly romantic, but more as an undercurrent. Maybe because I feel some desperate desire for intensity, something that I find I can't quite keep in my grasp. Maybe because I know it'll be a good story, or maybe because I'm hopelessly naive. It could be any of it. It could be all of it. Now, to me, this is so profound of what we're doing right now, of letting go of old stories and bringing in the new, in such a raw, honest assessment of, like, I'm all in. I believe in love. I'm not going to hold back finding my truth. And sometimes ignoring the signs are they signs, or are they the mind telling you the old story, which is going to jump in to the next story? So I'm rereading this going, oh my God, I see it even like more in depth than I saw it the first time, like how brilliant it is, even if she didn't realize like it's, I'm all in. And even if I screw it up or I'm being naive, I am going to so choose my truth and what I believe to be love, which is what her, I choose to see love everywhere, or undercurrents of it. I love that. So I was saying how I know it's this new energy, this new way of being, this truth, this freedom, this, all the amazing words, the beyond. But here's our life. And it's like, no, but we do it this way. But oh, look, here's another example. Here's another person pulling on you. Here's another, like, your mind saying, you can't be that. We don't do that. This is how we do it. And this like oscillation of, no, but we're going here now. And then you're kind of looking back because there's this constant pull of, yeah, but this is what we do. This is how it's been, and this is how society says it should be. And this is the story we tell. So it's really fascinating. And if you're in it, confusing and frustrating. But if you can like really like raw and honestly look at it and be like, I am all in. Me, love, freedom, like I gotta jump in and follow my heart because I'm gonna trust in my heart, right? And even if there's a little, bump in the road, I chose that.
I love that. I love the whole thing. Like, and I love the fact that she's looking for love everywhere. And like you said earlier before you were reading it, whether it's a relationship or not, it's just she's looking for that love, that happiness, whatever it is you want to call it, everywhere, and owning if something's not there. And what the powers that be are saying, if everybody can stop and really look at your day and look at, is this a program that I've been doing over and over and over again? Am I continually, and they're saying this goes for positive too. Okay, so am I continually having my happy day be this particular way? Because if I'm whatever, if I get up and I meditate and I do this, switch it around. And I think we talked about this last time, Trace, like really switch things around. It's everything is not supposed to be, okay, this is my day. This is okay. I know if I wake up and I meditate and I go work out and then I go to whatever, take a walk outside, whatever it is. But this is like my perfect day. And that's how I have to start my days, because that is, they're saying, honestly, if you really honestly look at that, you're really putting your energy outside of you, because that's your program. That's a program that the mind has brought forward that is no longer relevant in the energy that energy and frequency that we are moving into. And they're showing this like beautiful wave coming in. They're saying we're already into that energetic field. If you're having, and they're saying over the next few months, people will start to experience different frequencies, vibrations within your physical form. So you may feel lightheaded, you may feel heavy, groggy, more tired. You're moving into the energy. The more tired and the more groggy you feel, that's an indicator that you are stuck in the old energetic frequencies. And those frequencies are like these different, like lightning bolts going all over the place. It's like all jumbled up and crazy. And they're saying, when you own who and what you are pretending to be, because they said in the human form, we're just pretending to be these human beings. This is your spiritual being here to have a wonderful human experience, but somehow you went into that separation and you're judging the hell out of everything. They said, stop judging what you're doing, own it, come back in. Okay, this is what I choose to be. If I'm in a shitty relationship, all right, this is what I choose to be. So let me stop bitching about it. Let me own that, okay, this is what I am. I don't need sympathy from everybody else because this is what I want to be. So they said, so stop telling people, stop, doing whatever. If you're in this beautiful, happy relationship, so what? Stop telling people about it. They're saying it's none of anybody's business. It's yours. You hold that sacred, because they said the relationship with yourself and the relationship with anybody else is the very sacred thing, that the frequencies and the energy fields come together. And when they come together, we are helping to create the new energy, the new frequency of whatever name you want to give it, love, the happiness, joy, whatever. They said it's a very calming, generalized, frequent, energetic field of light that is waking up not only the right and the left parts of the brain so that they can reconnect, but the vibration, the frequency, their whole body. And they're showing, and I'm getting, I don't know if you can feel that, Trace, like, because they're like showing this like and feeling this vibration, this frequency going down like this, like through my whole body. And then I can feel right in the center, it's like coming together like this vibration. They said, so we're helping to create that for not only ourselves, but for the whole overall world. The minute you start to talk about that and express that with other people, that sacred relationship you have with somebody, you've now opened it up to other people, other things, which is exactly what your daughter talked about. Don't let anybody else tell you or, show you like, oh, you have to do it this way, you have to do this. No, this is your own thing. They're saying everybody here has a relationship that is perfect for those two people. So if you have a relationship, good or bad, with somebody, that's because you two chose to come to this earth and to have this joyous experience. You judged it as either good or bad. They said, it's just an experience. Like, don't judge it as anything. If it makes you feel good, then good. Carry that on, because that is going to create more. They're saying, but if it's bad, and what you're perceiving, they're saying what you're perceiving is bad. Remember, in the big picture, it's joyous. It's a joyous experience. Exactly what your daughter wrote about, right? It's a joyous experience. But keep it sacred either way, because somebody else can have a relationship with this person and it can be completely different. So you talking about it to somebody else is so unfair for everybody else, that one person, or that you will be in a relationship with. And they're saying relationship being, hello, how are you? You're seeing somebody in the store and you've heard the story, oh, that person's an asshole. No, the person was an asshole to that person because that's what they needed to experience. It might be wonderful for you. So you're saying, do you see how judging either good or bad, it's just an experience? You, in your pattern, your programming of the human element, is telling you something different. Get out of the narrator, which is the mind. Get out of that narrator and move forward, and just honor who and what you are in every experience you're having. But look at your day. If I'm doing the same thing, whether it's good or bad, again, that's a judgment on ourselves, right? Good or bad, change it up. Change it. Do something completely different. Tracy, I did it with you last week. I called you late in the evening. I never talk late in the evening. And,
I know.
And it was the whole thing of, you were just saying that day, like how everything is changing up. You're doing everything like completely different. And I was like, oh my God, here's another one I didn't even realize. Right. So pay attention too, because you might realize that things are changing and shifting that you didn't even recognize. Oh my God, yeah, I did that differently. And how good did it feel? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's all I got to say about that.
Well, and I think that's what's exciting, is to look what is kind of shifting and changing in your life. And, I always try and claim the victories, even small, simple ones, that seem ridiculous, like, oh my God, look, Renaé called me at night. That never happens. But that's such a testament to things are rewriting. And that's super exciting for me, because I am all about the rewriting and the onward and upward. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would say that we were talking earlier how things are, I like to say, I'm much more aware. You could also say, well, it's getting a lot noisier, like it's so much more prevalent. Or I'm like, wow, I'm really aware of the contrast of stuff that I am not going to sign up for anymore. Like, oh, that, yeah, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Oh, I know I used to always do that, but I'm not going to do that anymore. So it's kind of either way frustrating, because it's a lot more prevalent and noisy in my life, but it's also like, oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, no, we don't do that anymore. Reset.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you just did that. Reset, because I think that's so important. If you make that little noise like reset, you don't even have to say it. You do that little thing, like, because if you're out in public or whatever, you don't want to be like reset, and people are like, what the heck? But they're saying if you make that little motion, you're giving the not only energetic but the human element something to connect into. Okay, we're changing this. Just like when Tracy before was going, oh no, yeah, no, we're not doing that. No, we're over here. Just those little movements are making not only an energetic shift, but the human frequency, the human mind, and every other aspect, the ability, oh no, we're over here. Because remember what they said, that whole energy that's really connecting in and tying in the right and left parts of the brain and the right and left parts of the whole body so that they come together as one. As you're making those little movements, those little things, you are helping the system connect in with the new frequencies, the new vibrations, and you're telling it, nope, we're not doing that anymore. Nope, well, that's not what we do. Because why would I recreate that? You wouldn't recreate. You don't want to recreate it because that's all we're doing from minute to minute to minute. If you're doing anything that you were doing a minute ago, you're recreating the same thing. So the thing stop. The world has to stop recreating. Humans have to stop recreating the same thing over and over and over. Recognize it. You're recreating it. Do we want to do that? No. So choose wisely.
And I know for me, some of the really like to say the words, ingrained, deep, long withstanding patterns, I'm finding it's not a one and done, which frustrates the hell out of me. But, I just been like, no, we're not doing that. And then whatever, it happens again an hour later. Hold on a minute. No, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? Like can be tedious, but I like to think that I'm getting down to the nitty gritty. Like, okay, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty, those really long standing with, the patterns that were deep. So they're going to take a time or two. So.
Yeah. And exactly what you said, they're saying they're not, it's a program with not only ourselves, but with everyone in the world. So sometimes you'll change yours, they're saying, but now you've pulled in, remember, we're all connected. We're all connected. So now somebody else might be, doing some of it, but can't handle all of what they've created. And they're saying, so if we're looking at the human judgment, they're saying, look at somebody that you've been judged as, well, they don't know. They're not awake. They're never going to wake up doing the stuff, but they are doing the work the way they are choosing to do it. They're saying, so what will happen is if they've got so much of it, they're going to offload to you, not unbeknownst to them, they being the energetic field of what we all chose to be, because now that we're moving into the remembering who we are energy, now we're sharing everything. Okay, I'm clearing this. Okay, good. Oh, look at, she's clearing that. Okay, here, let's give her more because she can do that. So we're clearing for the overall consciousness. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, why do I keep signing up for that? What's interesting is if you notice, you'll start see it reflecting out in your life. Whereas, I'll just give a general, pick a thing, cleaning your house, whatever. You'll notice that people are like, well, you're so good at it. Can't you just do mine too? Because I've been noticing that a lot out in like business world. And then I'm like, oh, well, isn't that interesting? And then honestly, I make choice. Like, sure, I'll do that for you. And we kind of touched on this earlier of, there's some of us that we're used to doing a lot of things for a lot of people because we can and we do and we're good at it and we can do it more efficiently. And, everyone has strengths and weaknesses, but start noticing what's reflecting to you out in your outer world as well, like really happening, not in the energetic but it starts to get really interesting.
Very, very interesting. I think life is getting very interesting right now, and we're going to see some really big changes, but they are, I guess I'll say, forewarning everybody that everybody is going to be slapped in the face with the truth right now. And you can either choose to blame somebody that's telling you that and say, oh, well, yeah, they're an asshole. No, listen to that. They're saying pay attention because that everybody, and I've been slapped in the face this weekend with a few things. I was like, oh my God. Then I was like, oh my God, that's so true. That's what I'm doing. It's that point of then saying, okay, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. Really own your stuff. And if there's something you are, what they're saying is, which is an interesting way for them to say, if there's something you're hoping to be in your life, let it go. Let it go. Own you. Come back to you. Come back into your heart and that space behind the heart. Sit there. Let that vibrate through your whole body and say, I remember who I am. I own my experiences. Because it's just experience. Like, stop judging as something else. Stop thinking you're here for lessons. You're not here for lessons. You're here for experiences that are amazing and wonderful and all designed to help you remember who you are. because we all said the same. Every single person on that earth said, I'm going to go there and I'm going to remember this time that I'm a spiritual being. I'm going to help the world wake up. So are you helping the world, or are you going into the separation? Saying that's all it boils down to. Choosing separation, or choosing to remember who you are. Because when we remember who we are, you'll be amazed at what you can do and what the world turns into. Cool.
I love mic drop.
That's all I got. You got anything else?
No, I think I don't even want to mess that up. I think it's perfect.
Good. So choose wisely. If you're getting slapped in the face with truths, pay attention, because you wouldn't be hearing it. It wouldn't be coming to you if it wasn't inside, because everything out here is a reflection of what's on in here and what you know you should do. So if you're not doing that, pay attention. And you can choose not to. They're saying it's all a choice. It's just your experience. That's okay. However you're getting there. But please start to just say, I remember who I am. Have that running in your brain so that everything starts to shift and change, and choose wisely.
You don't get that slap in the face, because we don't want that.
It's not any good. I've had it a few times.
I know.
And I'm sure I'm going to get a hell of a lot more. Sorry, everybody. So listen, like, tune in next week to listen to Christine. On the 13th, we will be recording. Put the link below for you to join us, ask questions, just be there to sit in the gallery, feel the energy, whatever. And I don't know, have fun and choose wisely, and let's go.
Let's go. And remember.
Yes, remember who you are.